This is the Orange County Courthouse. It was built in 1925 to 1927. It now serves as the Orange County Regional History Center. So let's go on inside and take a look at the collections they have for Orlando and the greater Orange County area. We are discovering a paradise. A display on the Timucuan at the time of the early Spanish discovery. This is a Timucuan canoe, and it was found by a high school student in a lake by his house in the 1980s. It dates back to around 1500. This is a conch shell. It's from the Palmer-Taylor Midden, which is an Indian mound, and some rare pottery intact. This is some pottery from Weedon Island. This dates back anywhere to 500 years or older. Some artifacts from the Hunter's Creek site. And a replica of an owl totem on the left. These pottery samples are from Shell Island. This is a replica of a shell mound using oyster shells and just piled on top for hundreds of years. And there's many examples of this throughout Florida. Turtle Mound probably being the largest shell mound in the world. This is a replica of the type of fabric that was found in the Windover Bog in Titusville, Florida. This is a mammoth tooth and some other bones. This is from a mastodon. The mammoth tooth, and then these are horse teeth. See the difference in the size. And that's a manatee. They like to frequent Florida waters. Continuing on with discovering a paradise. This looks like the early cracker period of Florida history. Unconquered Seminoles. The interior of a Seminole cabin. Just some old 19th century bottles, and looks like these are made out of metal. On the left is a turtle shell rattle, and then these are tin can rattles. And Seminole bead necklaces. This is 19th century scrimshaw work. These are Seminole dolls. Handmade. This is from a Seminole ball and stick game. This is an artifact from the sugar mill industry. Some examples of actual sugar cane. And a post hole digger, shovel, wash tub and stand. These all dated to 1912. And here they're making cane candy, which is natural sugar. This is a hanging Betty lamp. This is the interior of a cracker cabin. Of course, with the rifle and the gunpowder horn. The bed, mosquito type net. It's an old spinning wheel. Washboard, cabinets with the old jugs. There's an old cracker fire scene making biscuits. This is a McClellan saddle. It dates back to about 1915. This is a cracker whip. This dates back to, it says 1899. Horn clippers that date back to 1895. And this is a little legendary rifle here. It's the Barber Mizell Feud on February 21st, 1870. A single gunshot killed the Orange County Sheriff. And that's the gun that did it. And a display on Florida's citrus industry, very important from the 19th century, even today. The Great Freeze of 1894 to 1895 sent the citrus industry down south from the Ocala area down to Central Florida and beyond. I remember as a boy visiting Florida and picking oranges off the tree for a fee. And some of the many independent labels for Florida citrus. Just pack it off all around the country. Tickets were actually used to show which worker actually packed each crate of oranges. This is a Folsom tractor. This is a Grove heater that dates back to 1950. This would help to heat up the orange field so that there wouldn't be a frost. Once the orange tree freezes, its fruit is no good forever. Have to replant more trees. Beautiful staircase. This used to be the Orange County Courthouse, so it's very grand. We're going to step inside the criminal court. It's very elaborate. Wow. And of course, the judge will be sitting in his seat of justice. I believe this might be the witness stand over here. This is most likely the jurors' seating. 12 seats, so makes sense. The jurors' point of view of the the witness and the judge. And on this side would be the prosecutors and the defendants would be sitting in this area. This is the courthouse clock that was saved from an old brick courthouse that predates this courthouse. And some history of the steam travel up the St. Johns River. This is a steam whistle, dates back from a period of 1890 to 1915. And Orlando had an air base, Naval Training Center, which was transferred over to the U.S. Navy. World War II era helmet and other items. A display on U.S. Coast Guard artifacts from the World War II. The banner and the bugle date to World War II.
The Central Florida Fair was founded in 1910.
An old truck. And we're gonna go on board here. Oop. Oh, okay, I'm already driving. Those are old, I guess, sandshell or dirt roads before they paved them. Oh, Armadillos. Of course, the tourist industry is huge in Florida. People come down here for the beaches, the theme parks, and this is Wigwam Village, or a replica of it. And this would pop up in towns in the area, draw tourists in, tourist traps. Okay, I'm glad that they have a remembrance here of Cypress Gardens. It was famous for the water skiing. Here's a pair of Cypress Garden water skis and a pair in action. It's one of the earlier tourist attractions from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I think it's Legoland now. So Bill Barron is a plant store. A couple of polar bears. And Jim Crow segregation. Black and white people were separated by law. And here's an old directory, which just seems outrageous today. First floor county welfare department, white waiting room, and then there's a colored waiting room. Everything's segregated. This is an abstract of returns of the 5th census in 1830. Florida, half the population was African American, almost all in slavery. And voting rights for African Americans were non-existent until after the Civil War. But even then, up until the 1960s, African Americans were denied the right to vote through many sinister plans, such as grandfather clauses and literary clauses. And one of the most horrible legacies, especially in the American South, the Ku Klux Klan. They were organized soon after the Civil War and operated very openly through the 1920s and still sadly in existence today. And one of the horrible things of the racism of the 19th century and into the 20th century were the lynchings. Very, very horrible. It wasn't even illegal until the 1930s. Just so we don't forget the hatefulness. A display of highwaymen art. We'll look at each painting. This is by Willie Daniels. This is by Alfred Hare. George Buckner. By Al Black. Mary Ann Carroll. This is by Harold Newton. He's one of the most famous of the highwaymen painters. And a lot of times they would just paint these on boards discarded from crates. And up into the 70s and 80s, they would just sometimes go door to door and sell. A friend of mine bought one of these to sell door to door for dollars, and it's I believe it might be a Harold Newton. Very collectible. This is by John Maynor. Hezekiah Baker. And by James Gibson. In the rock music scene in Orlando, this was the sign for the Sapphire Supper Club. This is a poster for the infamous Dead Kennedys concert at the Syrian Lebanese American Club, November 25th, 1985, where hundreds of people were hospitalized due to the violence. This is a Mercury capsule, and it was the first manned space capsule, about 1961. And Alan Shepard was famous for flying in this, a Freedom 7. It's a recreation of the actual Mercury space capsule. All right, it's time for blast off. We're in orbit. I think that's about it. So thank you for joining us in this trip through the Orange County Regional History Center. If you enjoyed this, please click like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you on our next adventure.